So is it because of how we be talking or because of the decisions that they make?
Yes.
So they've heard us talk. They're on here right now instead of out chasing little girls or doing illegal things. They're here right now listening to us.
Oh, Sean, you being petty. You know what he's trying to say. You understand? I understand your
How you
point.
gonna trip on us, bro?
I hear where you're coming from, Humble, but I think that would be a perfect scenario if the guy's a virgin and the girl's a virgin and they doing all that stuff. I think that's the perfect scenario and whatnot. But if they're not virgins, I mean, you still need to be picky. You still need to date with a purpose and all that. But just because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean you don't value them.
Which y'all see that from a daughter's perspective. Which I want y'all daughters to date dudes that's just interested in dating and have to have sex with them before they get married.
You keep saying just as if we're saying just.
But we're talking about
You got that word in.
Sean, are you okay? We're talking about
yeah, but I'm listening to what you said.
But we're not talking about sex.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like we're saying exclusively.
But is that not what we're talking about? That's exclusively what we're talking about. The subject matter says men shouldn't sleep around. So we're talking about sex. And the statement was, do you think that you can do that without sex? That's what the conversation was.
So the answer would be no. I would not want my daughter being treated as a fucking cum bucket. No, I wouldn't want that. Humble Dad.
So then why would we want our sons to be dudes that treat women as a cum bucket?
Who said that? There you go again. It's almost like you're not listening.
Nobody literally said that. Like nobody.
I think it always goes back to just chasing. Like I always talk about this because it's just when a guy is in his frame, and then like even when I was 18, 19, like I was trying to make enough money as I can to like get started on my life and start hustling and make as much. Like I was on my purpose. Like I was trying to make money because I knew money equaled other things in life that I needed to get to. So like once you're doing that, girls start seeing that you're that type of guy that's working 50, 60 hours a week or something. They just want to jump on with you. And they're like, oh man, I see this train going. I want to jump on with him because he's fucking killing it. He's that guy. So there's like a lot, but we got to remember average is fucking lame today. Like most guys are average and average is overweight. Average is short, you know, average is lazy. Average is playing video games all the time. Yeah. Okay. Sorry on the height, but average is like playing video games all the time, you know? So like when you look at all those things, women don't want that shit no more. They want the guy that's on their shit. So I think those guys, when a girl comes into your life and she's coming and just throwing it on you, and like it's a good girl and stuff, and she's providing value to your life, I don't think that like you're ruining each other in a sense. Like you should try to make that work as a young man and try to make relationships work when you're young, because when you get that experience, that's how you become really accustomed to women. And also something that nobody likes to talk about, and I get judged so much for this, but you need to be friends with women. Back in the day, like thousands of years ago and this stuff, there was communities, especially in churches and stuff. Like I grew up a lot in the church. I was around women all the time. I had tons of women that were my friends, and it was from like 13 to 16. And I was very accustomed to women, to where I had more friends of women throughout high school and after and stuff. And I'm very successful with women because of my friendship with women. I understand them. I was red pilled before ever reading a book or anything about a woman. Like I just understood them from being around them my whole life. And any guy could have that if they just had a community around them. But we live in the internet today. Like we live in a society where we're all separate. Like we're more disconnected than ever. And that's why we're so messed up.
Before I get to Luis, so I'm listening to you guys and I'm just trying to think a little deeper. I think Humble Dad is saying that the fact that, because it's different when you're coming from a spiritual perspective. It's almost as though like you get it, you're going to save yourself, you're going to try to find the right woman, you're on the right path. So I think he's more so speaking of that. So the fact that if you guys are saying we are willing to have sex, I think he's looking at that as you guys are just absolutely not saying no, or we not going to, you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, JR, you trying to clean up Humble Dad shit.
Yeah.
What's better than clean
Yeah,
up?
you trying to save him. You want to clean
Shooting that man some
a
bail.
life raft for him, JR. Right, throwing a life raft.
I've never needed saving. Like I can stand by myself 100%.
Yeah.
I think what it is.
You're right, Humble, because you're not saving none of them. You're right. You're not saving.
No, what I think that the problem is that you all come from a position of not actually trying to help the men. young men, as it relates to when it comes to the sex component of what it is that we're talking about, right? It's important for like Purple Pill said, like, you can be around women and learn women without having to have sex with them, right? Because one person said, well, I got to learn, like, I got to have sex with them because then they cling to me, so then that's a different side of her that I get to experience. Well, a woman is emotional, period, and then you want her to be even more emotional because you've had sex with her, then that's a part of manipulation, right? As opposed to if you would just if the goal was to be married, that's what's missing. That you all are telling guys, be on your purpose, date around, then figure out like who you like. Then if you figure out who you like, get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Sleep around if you can. Like, you giving these bad advice, which is already happening. The things that y'all talking about are already happening. The black population is struggling as it relates to being married. And why is because they're just doing they're dating and they're not trying to be in the position of marriage because of how y'all be talking.
So is it because of how we be talking or because of the decisions that they make?
Yes.
So they've heard us talk. They're on here right now instead of out chasing little girls or doing illegal things. They're here right now listening to us.
Oh, Sean, you being petty. You know what he's trying to say. You understand? I understand your point.
How you gonna trip us, bro?
I hear where you're coming from, Humble, but I think that would be a perfect scenario if the guy's a virgin and the girl's a virgin and they doing all that stuff. I think that's the perfect scenario and whatnot. But if they're not virgins, I mean, you still need to be picky. You still need to date with a purpose and all that. But just because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean you don't value them. You know, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I would typically have sex with somebody that I value because I like you, I care about you. I want to share my physical space with you, and I want to be around you even more. You know, I want to share intimate connection with you as well. So
the problem with that, what you just said, B. Madden, is what if you feel that way with every woman you run into, and then you didn't did that, you didn't felt that way about 15 chicks. Then at that point, that's what Humble Dad is trying to say, dog. You know, if you feel I value every chick I had sex with, it's just that I fucked 40 of them. I valued 40 women, and I was looking to marry 40 women. It just didn't work out with all 40 of them.
That's the question.
At what point do young men start saying, "Wait a minute, I need to look at something different"? Because if I'm fucking everybody that I'm quote unquote valuing, if every woman that I'm dating is potential a wife material. But I got a history of 27 chicks that ain't wife material that are all smashed in my wake. Then are young men do they need to recalibrate their value compass?
Well, let's also think about something really quick. Most men aren't sleeping around. You know, like the topic is, men should.
I wouldn't even go there.
Very true. Like, very true. I'm glad you hitting that.
Most guys aren't even sleeping around. So like let's all remember when we're thinking about this.
It's the only same few.
The top 10%, 20%, top 20, top 20%. Yeah, yep. So if they're all getting it, okay. And then if we think about the women that are sleeping with them that are throwing it around a lot, most of these girls are like cluster B disorder girls. Like, they have personality disorders and stuff. They're going to do that because of trauma and stuff that happens to them. Those people just need to all stay over there. You know, like, we just kind of categorize them and put them all over there. And the relationship people and the good people, let's just all stay over here. Just stay separate. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, everybody's.
But Purple Pill, they have to have some level. They have to have some level of experience around women to understand which ones are the 304s and which ones are the good girls and which ones are just sophisticated or whatever and trying to feel it. You got to be around them. You got to.
Yeah. Well, it's good to be around them, but you learn a lot just by not chasing. Like, just by not chasing, you weed out a lot of the bullshit, because the good woman is going to come into your life and kind of see what you're doing and want to be a part and build what you're building. And like, most guys are just so impatient they don't do that. And we all do it. We were all simps at one time. We all have done it. We've all chased. We've all done this, but we've all learned sooner or later. We're like, man, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this no more. Like I'm waiting for the girl to come to me, and like, next thing you know, you're 30 or whatever. And like, all these women are coming to you because you're more valuable and stuff. that's what we all have to like get to, but quicker. It was easier to get that, years ago. Like my father probably had that swagger at like 25, 26 when he was a DJ at the club while working for the government, like building bases and stuff. But like I didn't have those same opportunities when I was at that age.
But
so it's just like it just depends.
I would contend that most guys will not level up and swag up. Most of them will be average guys. They just will, and they have to figure out what it's going to take to get a woman. Whatever that means for them. So I hear what you're saying, and it's valid for certain types of guys, but certain guys don't have the luxury of looking at it like that. They have to be proactive, and it just kind of is what it is. I understand what you're saying, Humble Dad. I just don't think it's the reality of what's going on. I think in a perfect world, what you're saying makes perfect sense. I really do, but I just don't think it's the reality of what's going on, and I don't think it's probable.
I think it's interesting when people say in the perfect world. When every time that we are teaching from a position of what would be most optimal, right? What is most optimal is for you to protect your seed, right? That's most optimal, right? But we say, well, in 2023, well, that's so hard, that's so challenging, as if sex hasn't been around forever, right? It's always an opportunity to get sex in some regard, right? Whether it's paying for it, right? Whether it's going out and getting it on your own. There's ways to do that, right? What I'm saying is if we are trying to build a community of men, then we have to tell them that, listen, you need to value yourself more than than this nut that you feel like you got to go get, because that's what it is.